A pleasant good morning to everyone, and welcome once again to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show, heard exclusively right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network and Spreaker.com. Guest menu looks like this, and I'm loaded today, locked and loaded. Coming up in hour number one, Coach Carlos Fuentes, women's basketball coach at Southern University. I'll have a sit down with him and talk with him about the season that was, the outlook for next season and recruiting needs, and just kind of wrap up the season, which has wrapped up for a lot of the athletic teams across the country. But a chance to talk with Coach Carlos Fuentes. Then following Coach Fuentes will be Coach Gabe Fertitta. That's right, Fertitta. He's the head football coach at Catholic High School in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Want to talk about Braylon Morgan, a guy he knows a lot about on and off the athletic football field. He's a Southern University signee, a late signee, but he'll give us the skinny on Mr. Morgan. He'll join me in hour number one. Then, of course, Coach Van Pettaway, back by popular demand, the Carlos Brown Show basketball analyst. He'll join me on today's show once again. Still getting a lot of feedback from last week. Passionate. Coach Pettaway is just passionate. That's just how I remember him. On the hardwood, coaching, and now not on the hardwood, but still passionate. He'll join me. And then last but not least, Charles Edmond of the Alcorn State Radio Network. Here's what's trending on the Carlos Brown Show. Bit of sad news. Legendary McDonald 35 coach out of New Orleans, Louisiana, Wayne Reese Sr., he dies of COVID-19. Simply stunning, shocking, and you can see the impact Coach Reese had on a lot of young student athletes on the high school level. But he passes away this week. Rest in peace, journey well, Coach Reese. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. AD's brace for a possible financial crisis in 2021. Now, the article, you can go check it out for yourself on ESPN.com, basically talks about the Power Five, the Group of Five. But I'm just wondering, what will the effect be on smaller schools, HBCUs? So I did print out the article, and we'll go through some of the important points, and I'll probably do that in hour number two and give you a chance to have some feedback. But, of course, with COVID-19 still a daily occurrence, ramifications every day, life is just not the same right now. Of course, be safe as always and practice the things that you need to do to keep you as safe as possible. Also, Noah Johnson, who got an extra year, 6th year, he commits to the University of South Florida. So he'll be joining Coach Pat White there. So, got to say congratulations to Noah Johnson. For some of you thought maybe he was going to reemerge in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, well, you got your answer on that one. And then, Purview A&M, Coach Dooley adds to his staff. Coach Van Singletary, associate head coach, DN coach, and Damon Nivens, offensive line coach. No, I know both of them very well, particularly Van Singletary. I consider him a friend. And he's now close to home. He's from the Houston area, or from the city of Houston. So he'll get a chance to coach close to home. I don't know if there'll be a season. That's yet to be determined. But it does not look good, in my humble opinion. But Coach Dooley adds to his staff. And then last but not least, Alcorn State's AD, Mr. Horn, he releases the women's soccer coach, Junior Noel, who spent 3 seasons at Alcorn State. And boy, I don't know if you saw some of the, how can you put it? Some of the feedback, that's the best way to put it, that was circulating. Mr. Horn is not a popular guy to some. So he makes another decision. And he wishes Junior Noel the best. So I guess it's one of those times where he's going through the athletic department and making his evaluations. I guess baseball and softball will be next. It'll be interesting, and I've heard from some of you, boy, rotten timing at this time to do that. But as we talked last week, no time is never a good time to be let go. So, got a full show for you. As always, let me say hello to Dr. Brother Michael Prince. Dr. Prince, good morning to you, sir. You doing well?
Good morning, my friend. I'm doing well. How about you and your queen?
We're doing well in the kingdom and queendom.
There you go. Have you been serenading her these days?
Always. You never wait for one day. You can do it all the time.
That's what I'm talking
about. You can do it all the time.
Yes, sir.
And if not, then you run for the hills.
Yeah. Well, run for the hills while serenading at the same time.
There you go. But life is just a bit unusual, to say the least.
No doubt.
And these days, just going out to get some necessities, or for those who are essential workers that have to work. It's just unusual. Sitting in the vehicle looking, it's something out of what you would have seen 20, 30 years ago. A scientific movie, science fiction movie, with people with suits on, chemical suits, and people walking with masks over their nose. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
It's I've had people refer it to 2 movies: Independence Day, and the movie I believe it was Dustin Hoffman in Outbreak.
Now it's reality.
Yeah. It is. It's a sombering reality, and unfortunately, there are going to be people that we know and many people to perish from this thing. But hopefully, that people can learn a little bit more about themselves, and if they believe in the power of a creator, grab a little bit tighter. So it's some challenging times right now.
Yeah, and still, talking with people, and of course, we talk sports here, and I've just put myself in the mindset that as you look at the rest of the year, and some people are still hoping, and some people are saying, no, it's still going to be football. I just don't see it, folks. That's just me, and I put myself in the mindset of there'll be no SWAC football media day. There will be no college football. There will be no NFL football. There will be no Celebration Bowl. And I'm just putting my mindset in that order on life. Still will go on. And if there's no college football, none of what I've mentioned, I'll have to deal with that. And I can only speak for myself. I'll be all right. I'll be all right, because sports is important, but there are things more important, like life.
Absolutely. Absolutely, my friend. I think from my assessment of things thus far, high school and college football will not get off the platform. But somehow, even if they have to do a shortened NFL season, I think they have a more realistic chance of getting something done, just because of the big. I know there's a lot of money spent in college football and made in college football, but there are billions of dollars in the NFL. And if there's a wiggle of a chance, they're going to do something to try to hold on to as much as they can. Because right now, people are And equally so, they're concerned about the economic impact. We know lives have been taken, but I think more people are really concerned on getting the economic train back on course, and so they're going to do everything within their power to do it. Because when you look at the budgets, like television deals, there's enough money made through NFL. They can have games with nobody being in the crowds. But the challenge is with the 6 foot social zone, how do you orchestrate that on a sideline? Well, you could probably do it with an NFL team because there are 55 guys on the roster. So you could strategically set that out. But a high school team like the Power Fives, they have 100+ guys on the sideline. How you going to do that?
Well, to each his own. I talked to a parent who said, no way in hell that their student athletes, no, until this is cleared up, and it could be a year and a half, whatever, he's not going to do it.
Right.
He's not going to do it, and if they want to play in the empty stadium, go right ahead. I'm one of the guys who have said, Reverend Knight says the lack of money is the root of all evil. Well, guess what? You have to make your own personal choice.
Right.
Sitting there watching the game, and I understand you're so desperate for sports. You've been some of you have been locked inside, and it's just not the same. I personally rather deal with it another year and come back and things are better.
Yes.
And then watch it. But, I understand people if they feel the other way. But I said I was cautiously optimistic, but it's not looking good.
Right.
Not looking good.
The true measuring mark is actually going to be when a vaccine has been developed. As soon as a vaccine can be developed, you're anywhere between 90 and 120 days from things getting back to normal, because they'll have enough to test on people and see the cause and effects that this thing could have. But like you say, this is good for wishful thinking. And if you look at how all this has been done, it's been a slow capsule release on the news. They didn't want people to go into an overall panic. So they don't want to give them all of it at one time. But trust me, the powers that be know that there's no way you're going to be, and we're just talking August. If you look at it just on the time capsule, they give us to May 4th here in Texas for returning possibly back to school. Well, who's going to return to school May 4th? The year's over with. And then if you go to July, where they say that's when the break should be clear, August, man, you're not going to have enough. You have more injuries, more safety concerns. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Just logically thinking, it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. And talking about in front of an empty stadium without fans, well, they've got quite a few people who don't have jobs.
Absolutely.
So some of those individuals probably spend some of their discretionary dollars, which now they have none right now, to go and partake in sports and entertainment. So that's.
But there's hope, my friend. Here come the optimism side, right? Optimistic side, I should have said. If they do reconvene, what a time to be in the radio audio business. Because you could pull off broadcasting the game with no fans in the crowd on an audio radio broadcast because people not seeing it. But it would look awful crazy trying to watch a game with no fans. It'd be like watching a live scrimmage. At least you could strategically place some microphones with an audio radio broadcast where you could hear the coaches and the players on the sideline to give you some type of crowd effect. Think about that.
Yeah. I can see that, but I'm going to continue with my plan. There's the Lifetime channel, some movies, YouTube, Netflix, and PlayStation 4. and
uh-oh, did we lose? Uh-oh, it looked like we may have had a technical challenge with Brother Carlos. We're going to take us a quick break, and we'll come back with more to see what we got going on here. You listen to the Carlos Brown Show live on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Are you one of the many Americans that deal with the effects of diabetes? Diva Skin Conditioner could be the remedy that you need. Diva Skin Conditioner is a formulation that was designed with you in mind. Diva Skin Conditioner comes with a money-back guarantee. That's how confident they are in their product. For more information, visit divafeet.com. That's D-I-V-A-H, feet.com. Or you can speak with a representative by dialing 903-270-0026.
Hello, this is Lonzo Hardy Jr., President of the SWAC Alumni Association. The SWAC Alumni Association is an organization founded on December 10, 1999 at the Sheraton Hotel in Birmingham, Alabama. Its mission is to serve as a rallying ground for individuals who have made the Southwestern Athletic Conference the illustrious conference that it is today. Its membership is open to former student athletes who have played in the conference in any sport, as well as to coaches, athletic administrators, staff members, game officials, and fans. Annually, the association holds a Legends Awards and Roast Banquet or Luncheon, where it honors individuals with Lifetime Achievement Awards, a Chuck Prophet Wagon Master Award, and occasionally a Distinguished Service Award. Proceeds from that event help to finance degree completion scholarships for student athletes who have exhausted their playing eligibility at SWAC universities, but who may still need an extra semester or two to complete their college studies. For more information on the SWAC Alumni Association, or to get information on becoming a member, you can send correspondence to SWAC Alumni Association, 875 Miller Creek Lane, Newport News, Virginia, 23602. The email address is SWACalumniassociation@yahoo.com.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show, heard exclusively right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network and Spreaker.com. Today's first guest, he's women's basketball coach at Southern University, Coach Carlos Fuentes. Coach Fuentes, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. How you doing, Carlos?
Well, I'm doing okay as well as I can. How about you, sir?
Just trying to stay safe and stay on top of this recruiting and everything else.
Well, I know in light of what's going on, but the show still goes on, and recruiting and all of that for your basketball program. So we'll kind of get right into the conversation, Coach. I kind of want to get your reflections and thoughts on the season that just wrapped up for your Southern University women's basketball team.
Well, I thought we had a lot of ups and some downs, but overall, I was pretty pleased. I thought that, our freshmen came on, especially down the stretch, and did a great job. Of course, we lost 5 teams from last year's championship team, and just gaining that experience. From a talent standpoint, I thought we were solid coming in. Actually, from an athletic standpoint, I thought we were better athletically this year than we were the previous year. But that experience, you just can't put a price tag on that. And there's only one way to get it, Carlos, and that's put them out there on the court and let them play.
Coach, you talked about experience. There's also chemistry. Prognosticators preseason predicted Southern to win it. Of course, they finished third in the regular season. In the tournament, of course, canceled because of the situation that's going on. Do you think it was any type of pressure, too much pressure, or it was just that the young ladies just
no, I don't
where they thought they would be?
No, I don't think it was any pressure or anything like that. To be honest with you, I was surprised that we were picked to finish first.
Okay.
But, a lot of times they base that on past success. Any team that lose 5 seniors, you're going to be losing something. And all those young ladies that we lost, they had at least 100 games under their belt, playing time over the years. So, it was kind of surprising, but, our expectation at Southern University to win championships. Of course, it's like that probably throughout the conference, but that's what we expect to do year in and year out. And that's the type of effort and work we put in, try to put in a championship effort, not just on a yearly basis, but on a daily basis. Whether it's working out in the summer, whether it's, getting in the weight room, whether it's academic in the classroom. You want to, create a culture of having a championship mentality on a daily basis.
Interesting. And a lot of times, of course, sports writers, sports talk hosts, we talk about the information that's put out. And, when you see, hey, Southern's picked to win it all, Coach Bonchess was like, no, we're not going to fall for that. and you know what? And you know your team better than anybody else. And so that's an interesting point that you thought that was a bit too high.
I did. Well, I was surprised that other people picked us to be that high with what some of the other teams around the conference had coming back, especially Jackson State. They returned their core group, and they were solid. Alabama A&M. That's another team that I thought was going to be, of course, right up there. Coach Cooper, she did a great job at Texas Southern, surrounding Nia Mitchell with some great players, and they did a tremendous job also.
Yeah.
But, a lot of things go into play. We had some injuries down the stretch. We lost Jaden Towner. I don't know if you're aware of that, but she was actually averaging double figures a game in conference for us, and she missed. We lost her 6 games prior to playing in our conference tournament.
Right.
But she missed the previous 6 games, and that really hurt her. Not from a scoring standpoint, even though she was averaging double figures in the conference, but from a leadership standpoint, which that was one thing that we had a big void in coming in this season, experience and leadership. And she was one of the cornerstones of that. She knew what to do. She could make adjustments on the fly, on the court, because, as a coach, you can't tell them everything. But
right.
she was a coach on the court, even though she was not a point guard, but she played that forward position. But she has an extremely high basketball IQ, and that got us over the hump. A lot of close games this year that we didn't win. The previous year, we probably would have won those games, strictly on experience, But that's how it goes. It's got to be the next person up. And we had some freshmen that step up and do I think, an outstanding job for us.
Oh, yeah. Raven White being one, and her teammate from high school, Ms.
Genovia Johnson. She is dynamic.
Yeah,
she's explosive.
And they're tough.
Oh, yeah. Championship players, championship caliber players, and she won a championship in high school. That senior year, they won a 6A class championship in the state of Florida, which produced a lot of really good basketball players. And she played for a legendary high school Hall of Fame coach. They want to win basketball games. And Chloe Fleming, another young lady. She did a great job at that PG spot. She's really explosive. But, it's a learning process for all those freshmen. And like I said earlier, it's only one way to get it, Carlos, and that's put them out there and let them play. Go through the growing pains.
And the good thing is, 2 years from now, they won't be freshmen.
That's right.
they'll have the word experience.
Like they say, battle tested, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
That's a good term, battle tested.
Yes, sir.
And Coach, like in the NBA, they have exit interviews and what have you. What was your message to the young ladies after when you found out the season was over with, what was your message to the young ladies?
Well, of course, they were extremely disappointed. We had just won 3 games in a row. I thought we were getting some chemistry. Genovia Johnson, the freshman from Florida, Dillard High School, one of the ones you just mentioned, she had been out with an injury. She had missed like 3 games, and she had come back and played. That was her 4th game back, our first round tournament game. So she was getting back into the groove. We were Jaden Towner. We were getting our substitution patterns down. So we thought we had a chance to make a real good run, going into the semifinals. But like I told them, number one, you gave it all you had. And that's all we ask every day. Just come out and give us all the effort, because we can't coach effort. And they did that. They gave us everything that they had. And I told them safety first. That's number one. We're fighting an enemy that we don't know anything about. The doctors don't know anything about. So, you have to err on the side of caution. And Coach Banks and his staff did a great job keeping us informed. They worked hand in hand with the SWAC conference office, and just to make sure that the kids were safe and that we had a plan in place. That was my biggest thing. I told them we would let them know how we were going to handle it on a daily basis. And we had conference calls with the entire team and with Dr. Travian Scott, and, just worked hand in hand with them.
Yeah. Well, safety is most important, number one. And I think everybody can understand that. Coach, we've got a listener who had a question for you. Will we have any Division I non-conference home games this year? And I guess looking ahead, because of the situation with COVID-19, is it still a little bit too early to think about it, or is it the right time to start thinking in advance of what maybe could be or couldn't be as far as your program in the basketball season?
Yeah, we're actually in the midst of trying to close out a couple of contracts. We're going to play Kansas State. We'll play Texas Tech. Both of those games will be on the road. And then we have some other ones in the works, maybe Texas A&M. And we're looking at several other games. We're trying to get a Division I home opponent, maybe one of the in-state schools, a home and home schedule. So we look at that. A lot of times we play what they call some guarantee games and things like that. And, you have to play on certain dates when teams trying to get you to come in. So sometimes that makes it a little difficult to get, Division I home opponents here. But we most definitely trying to get some sometime in November, maybe even in December.
We're visiting with Coach Carlos Funches, women's basketball coach at Southern University. Coach, well, we'll kind of look ahead now. Outlook for 2021 for your program, and what are some of the needs that you have for your program, even recruiting-wise?
Well, recruiting-wise, we're losing Jaden Towner. Like I mentioned earlier, she was one of the cornerstones from a leadership standpoint and from, just being a magnificent player out there for us. And we're losing Brittany Rose. And both of those young ladies were extremely good three-point shooters. Brittany finished, I think she was second team all-conference this year. And she had some really big games for us. So that's 2 young ladies that we're going to have to try to replace, and hopefully some of our younger players will keep working and keep getting better. I know they will. And, they can step right in and fill that void. I think Kayla Watson did a tremendous job down the stretch. She's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, but she plays that 2-guard position, and I think she has a chance to be really, really good for us next year. She missed the first couple of months of the season because of an injury, a foot injury, but she came back strong. She's a junior college transfer from Baton Rouge Community College, and she missed a lot of time. And that chemistry, she started hitting her stride down the last 2 or 3 games of the season. So I think she'll be really good for us. Hopefully we'll be able to get in and work out this summer. That's still kind of up in the air, but I think we'll be solid. We're recruiting some really good kids. I think we're in position to get some good kids in here to replace those two. So I think the future's going to be bright, especially with our freshmen and our underclassmen. I didn't even mention Lyric Scott. Lyric played through some injuries this year, but she was the conference tournament MVP last year, and I think she'll have a great senior year coming up. So we have some other kids, Nakia Kinsey, another junior college transfer, played some point guard for us, but I think she'll be solid. I think overall we'll have more chemistry. We'll be able to put a lot more things in because we didn't want to, put too much on them this year, especially with all the new kids we had coming in. But I think we'll be solid. Looking for a big year.
Chemistry, experience. Speaking of that, you added some, new coaches, and how was that having the, being able to work with them?
With we returned our same staff from the previous year.
Oh, that's what I mean. A couple of years ago, yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah. We had returned our same staff, so everybody, you know how it goes. They had their routine, and we had a lot of good chemistry. I mean, I think that we have some of the best assistant coaches, not just in the SWAC, but in the country. I really do think that. So, we just kind of keep working to get better and better. We tweaked a few things from the first year, and, some of the stuff that worked, we kept, and some of the stuff that didn't work, we just threw out. Some of the things that we needed to work on, we kind of keyed in on that. And, we just go do that from year to year. It's a work in progress always. We look to improve every year. We just don't want to stay stagnant.
Well, last but not least, Coach, you mentioned her early on in the interview, Raven White, just impressive, and comes from good stock, I guess, for her father. But look to see her and her teammate and the rest of the young freshmen just improve, and we won't be able to call them freshmen anymore. But I guess to me, the future does look bright. The Southern Women's Basketball program will always be in the hunt.
We're going to try to, stay in a position to make a run at that thing every year. And like you said, Raven White, who her dad just went into College Football Hall of Fame this year. So he was down at the national championship game. He was inducted back in the middle of December. But, I mean, he's super supportive. He's at a lot of games. I don't know if you've seen him there or not, but he's always a fixture here, even on the road at some of our road games. He and his wife, I mean, they do a tremendous job supporting her and supporting our program. They support all those young ladies. So, it's good to have parents like that. But she is not only is she a very good player and an extremely hard worker, but she's an even better kid. I mean, it's kind of scary sometimes because, I have to keep her, number one, from overtraining. And number two, I mean, she's a very, very good academic student, too. I mean, she's a 3.3, 3.4 student, and just a tremendous young lady. They did a great job raising her. You would want your daughter to be that type of kid, the type of kid that she is. I mean, I can't say enough about that.
Well, we look forward to seeing her for years to come. With Southern University Women's Basketball Program. Coach, another listener, quick question. Will Caitlin Williams from Southern Lab be back in the program?
She'll be back this year. She had knee surgery I think it was in September. She had knee surgery. We went ahead and opted to go ahead and do that, and it was pretty much season ending. She probably could have come back in late February, but she wouldn't have been able to play but a few games. But that's another young lady. I'm glad they said that we failed to mention. But, she's going to step right in at that 4th spot, and she's going to put up some good numbers for us next year. I mean, she was highly touted coming out of high school. a very good player and another very good young lady. So we're looking forward to getting her back on the court.
Well, it'll be great for the program. Coach, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for taking some time to speak with us, and let's try to talk again midsummer.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Anytime, Carlos.
All right. Boy, that's interesting. Carlos, you and another Carlos from Scotlandville High School, you guys are number one on the famous Carlos name list.
Right behind you. We're right behind you, Carlos.
Oh, no. Well, Coach, we appreciate the time. We'll talk real soon.
Anytime. You guys stay safe.
All right. Thanks a lot. Coach Carlos Sanchez, head women's basketball coach at Southern University. Going to take a quick time out. And when we come back, Coach Gabe Fertitta, head football coach at Catholic High School. We're going to talk about a young man named Braylon. Braylon is just an outstanding running back. And when I just saw him at Catholic, and he does a little bit of everything. And when I found out he's going to be headed to Southern University, it just made me smile. So we'll be back. Coach Gay Fertitta. He'll join me next. You're listening to the Carlos Brown Show on the Open Mic Broadcast Network and Spreaker.com.
Serving the community through faith and athletics. The Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Have sports, will travel. The Open Mic Broadcast Network serving student athletes from Little League, high school, and collegiate coverage right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. From coast to coast, from dusk till dawn. You can catch all student athletic action right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the station designed with you in mind. Serving the community through faith and athletics, the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the voice of student athletics.
Broadcasters come into our lives on radio and TV, bringing us information and entertainment. Broadcasters are there for us, but who is there for them when they fall on hard times? The Broadcasters Foundation of America provides financial assistance to broadcasters in acute need due to a critical illness, accident, or other serious misfortune. If you know of a broadcaster on the air or behind the scenes who may need our help, please share our message. Visit broadcastersfoundation.org.
Chris, can you put the video game controller down for a second?
I can talk and play. Oh, I'm totally annihilating this punk kid in Nebraska.
I just feel like you're not acting like a grown-up in our relationship.
Am too.
Well, you still ride your skateboard to work. There's the comic book collection, the race car bed.
Look, I'm young at heart, but I put money into my 401k every paycheck. I picked up a few savings tips at feedthepig.org. I have control over my financial life now, and that feels pretty grown up.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. For free ideas and easy tips on ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
So, I bet I look like a grown-up to you now.
Well, except for the footy pajamas, I'd have to agree.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
One voice. It can get the point across, but it only carries so far. Add a voice. It's richer, louder, but that has limits too. Add a third voice. It's even more powerful. Add another, and another, and many, many more. And we are stronger than ever. That's the power of a community coalition. They help community groups, faith groups, civic organizations, PTAs, employers, and many others in your community organize their resources and focus them where they're needed most, like fighting to keep kids away from drugs. Ask a group that you belong to if they should belong to a community coalition. It's easy to get involved. Visit helpyourcommunity.org and they'll tell you exactly how your group can help. That's helpyourcommunity.org, because you get more when we get together. Brought to you by the Office of National Drug Control Policy and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show, heard exclusively right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network and Spreaker.com. Guest number 2, Coach Gabe Fertitta.
That's
it. Coach at Catholic High School. Coach, good morning to you.
Good morning. How y'all doing this morning?
Well, we're trying to be safe. We're talking sports, and I look at it as a therapy outlet for what's going on in the world around us for at least 2 hours. We talk some sports.
Yeah, no kidding. From it. No kidding. We all need it a little bit.
Yeah, I understand that. How are you doing in your family?
We're good. You know, my wife works at a nursing home here in Port Allen, but she's right in the thick of it every day. So, and then my mom and my brother both work at the hospitals down in New Orleans. So, my family's all up in it right now. So, but they're all doing well.
That's good. And appreciate them being on the front line. That's basically what I call it.
That's exactly right.
Well, we'll continue our prayers for you and your family. Coach, a young man that I got a chance to see locally via the television, and I saw this, I call him a running back, but I saw him catching passes, everything. And,
he's all over the place.
Yes, sir. Breland Morgan. And the first game I saw was against Edna Carr on live television on the Catholic High Network. And I was just amazed. I'm like, my goodness, Catholic's good. You defeat the Fitness State champion, and then he just had an outstanding game among others. Talk a little bit about Breland Morgan, the person on and off the athletic field.
Yeah, Breland has been a part of our program for quite a while. His older brother played corner for us. Was a senior on our state championship team in 2017, and his brother's at UL Lafayette right now as a walk on, and Breland's been around our program for a while, and you know, his running style and the way that he plays the game on the field is very similar to his personality. You know, he's a little ball energy. You know, always, you know, just bouncing around, big smile on his face. You know, one of the jokes I have about Breland is we have a practice on Wednesdays where I don't let the kids run. They're not supposed to sprint at all during our Wednesday practice. And never fails. I always had to get on Breland because he was always sprinting around all day at practice on Wednesday. But, you know, that's just him. You know, that's how he is. He's full of energy, and he loves the game. Loves the game. Loves practice. You know, like, you don't always find guys that love practice and the game, you know. A lot of guys just love to play the games, but they're not real wild about practice. If there's a ball out there, he wants to play. Practice, game, doesn't matter, you know. So we're going to miss him because he was electric. He was electric for us.
He was, and correct me if I'm wrong, I saw on the huddle and on television, was he on punt returns? I saw him doing multiple things in the backfield, kickoff returns. What is his official position? Is it running back or is it? What is it?
You know, one of the things we tell our kids is, you know, don't be a position player. Be a football player. Be a football player. And Breland is a football player. That's what he is.
Gotcha.
You know, he played tailback. I would say, you know, that was his primary position for us, was as a tailback. But we split him out and played him in the slot. He was one of our best kickoff cover guys. He would run down on kickoff coverage, fearless. I mean, you know, Braylon's one of those guys that, you know, he might only be, you know, 5'8", 5'9", 165 pounds, but he thinks he's 6'2", 225, you know. Yeah, he really is. And you say that, and pound for pound, easily the strongest kid we had on the team. Easily, when you go pound for pound. I think he might have maxed out on cleans at like 285 or something like that, and he only weighed 160 pounds.
Wow.
Extremely strong, extremely explosive. You know, Southern is getting a heck of a football player.
And Coach, to that point, I'm scrolling on Twitter and I'm looking and at the time I was looking, it was like they didn't mention any offers, but he was still open and available. And I'll just be brutally honest with you. That's a player that I thought maybe, okay, when I'm reading that, of Nicholls State, you know, maybe a Southeastern. And then lo and behold, Southern University gets in there and boom. And then he's a track, from what I'm understanding, a track athlete as well.
He's an exceptional track runner. You know, Braylon, one of the things that happened with Braylon was, you know, when he first got to Catholic, there was some adjustment for him in the classroom, you know. Mm-hmm. And so his grades needed some work, and credit to him, you know, he grew and he learned, and his grades improved every single year, you know, like from his freshman to his sophomore year, from the sophomore to his junior, from his junior to his senior year. And I think some people were kind of waiting around to see, you know, would he have the grades? Would he make it in the grade department? And when he did, Southern was right there ready to jump in. You know, Nicholls offered him. Nicholls did offer him, and then they got a couple of commitments, and Braylon was kind of waiting, you know, to see what other things were going to be available. And, you know, that was a decision that all of us made, and it ended up costing him the Nicholls offer. But I think Southern is a great place for him. You know, I think he's going to end up being in I think his mom's a grad from there, and they've got a lot of family that's been there before. So I think it's going to be great.
Well, hopefully this season he'll get a chance to see him. One of my questions was going to be to you was, and I think maybe you kind of already answered it, you know, what his career at Catholic, what it meant to your program. So he's gone, and a historian will come and ask you, what did he mean to Catholic High, his years there?
Yeah, you know, Braylon was the guy that at practice, you know, like didn't matter if you were having a good day, a bad day, you know, maybe I was having to deal with something off the field or, you know, whatever it was. And then you get out there at practice and Braylon is jumping around. He's happy. He's, you know, that little ball of energy. So he really brought a lot of energy to our program, a lot of energy out at practice. And just, you know, that's what we're going to miss the most about him. I mean, he was a dynamic playmaker. You know, when you go back and look at how many times he touched the ball for us and how many times he scored touchdown, the ratio is incredible. Because we had so many players that were really good and we spread the ball around. I think we had 20 players score touchdowns for us this year. So we had a ton of different guys touch the ball and score touchdowns. So when you go back and look at how many times he touched the ball and how many times he scored, you realize just how dynamic of a playmaker he was. And all that was great. But the thing we'll miss the most about him and our program is just the energy and the fun-loving atmosphere that he brings to practice. And that's infectious, you know, and that's hard to replace.
Visiting Coach Gabe, Fertitta, football coach at Catholic High School in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Coach, if we put the crystal ball on you, we'll put you on the spot. Where do you see him playing at Southern? Positions, primary position, but what do you see? How do you see Southern utilizing him?
You know, I think he is tough enough and he's got enough balance and durability that he can come into the backfield and run the ball some at that level. Probably not as much as he ran it up inside, at our level. Right. But, I could see them using him as a guy that kind of like Clyde this year for LSU. Like Clyde would start in the backfield and then motion out into a receiver spot, and they would throw him the ball out of the backfield. And, I could see Southern using Braylon in a similar way that, we're gonna start him in the backfield, motion him out, try to get him matched up on a safety or a linebacker that's not as good of a cover guy. Slot receiver, Braylon has fantastic ball skills. His ball skills are really, really special. So I could see him doing that. I certainly see him having an impact on special teams as a return guy and as a cover guy, because I'm telling you, he's fearless. And I would not be surprised to see him running down covering kicks, God willing, in the first game of the season this year. I don't know if, Southern has a pretty significant tradition of big-time players. So, he's going to have to work to get on the field. But I could definitely see him getting in there on special teams early on. And then I'll tell you what, if they need a corner, if they get in a jam and they need to move him to corner, the guy can cover.
Interesting.
He has got legit track speed. So, there's no telling. He could end up just about anywhere, which is perfect for his personality because he's just all over the place, Yeah.
And it's interesting because the history between Catholic and Southern, I can just think just briefly, Brian Washington, a tight end. I know Marcus Jacoby, but he came to Southern via another school. And I feel like I'm missing somebody, but it seems to be a relationship that's a good one that's building, and a program as such as Catholic High School. And I was looking at your schedule for this year. Wow, you never duck anybody, Coach. And IMG, I believe.
Yeah,
if the season goes, wow. Yeah, well,
Yeah, I was talking with Coach Ashton Warner, I think that's his last name, who recruits our school, and they offered our safety, one of our 2021 safeties, just a couple of days ago, and are close on offering a couple of our other guys. And I told him, I am a huge fan and believer in the HBCU schools, and I wish that more of them would come through, and I wish that Southern could even come around even more, and more of our kids would end up going to school there, because I think the experience for our kids there is something that's really, really valuable. And we have a D lineman, Trey Square. That's Southern right now.
Yeah, I knew I was missing a couple of people, but
Yep. I taught Trey in my English class when Trey was at Catholic, and Trey played DN for us, was dominant. Really, really good player, helped us win a state championship in 2015. And in 16, his senior year, we were undefeated in the regular season. And Trey was a really, really good football player and great student. Real thoughtful kid, real intelligent, very, analytical. And when he told me he was going to go to Southern, I was just thrilled, because I thought that was going to be a great place for him. And I think he's thrived there. I think he's done really well. He's huge now. Golly, I don't know what they're feeding him over there, but he is gigantic. So we're excited about continuing that kind of a relationship with Southern. we're a pitching wedge away from there, you know. So we should have a lot of guys that end up going to school there. And then, yeah, schedule wise, you know, we play everybody. If they want to play, we'll play. And we want to test our kids against the best and give our kids a chance to showcase their talents against the best of the best. And, you know, I think last year, a perfect example of that is the safety that Southern just offered. Michael Chernauskas against Edna Carr had a pick six for about 96 yards and a touchdown. And when he intercepted it, I mean, he just outran the entire Edna Carr football team down the sideline for a touchdown. And I think it kind of opened some people's eyes to him, you know, like, man, not only can this kid hit and he's physical and he's smart and all this, but golly, he can fly, you know? And so you do that against teams of the caliber of the Edna Carrs and St. Thomas Moores and U-High. And, you know, we played North Little Rock out of Arkansas, who was the 7A state runner-up this year in Arkansas. And it gives your kids a chance to show what they can do, you know, against the best of the best.
Well, Coach, much continued success and keep playing them. That's the way to be. To be the man, you got to beat the man, and you guys are the man in a lot of cases. And Coach, just a little fun here. If you see a school in purple and gold, it'll be two sets now. One will be Prairie View A&M and Alcorn State, I'm sure, and Grambling. After this conversation now, I just know they're going to be coming.
Well, one of my really good buddies is an offensive coach at Alcorn. So they tried to get in on a couple of our guys late this year, but they didn't get any. So
hold on, am I hearing a Louisiana bridge right here? Where y'all trying to keep them in state?
Oh, you know, hey, it's my job to get them out wherever they want to go, whether that's in state or not. That's the coach's job. That's the recruiter's job. Carlos, it's my job to put them out there.
I'll deal with you later, Carlos.
I sense a little rivalry here. What's that now?
Carlos must have dropped out on us. Oh, wow.
No, we lost.
We lost him. Well, Coach, look, we really appreciate you joining in with us on today. And I'm pretty sure that Carlos will have you come back. And I will be reaching out to some of my PV coaches, tell them to get down you guys' way. How about that?
Absolutely. Tell them to come on. We don't discriminate.
All right, Coach. Thanks, Coach Fajita, for joining us on today. We're going to take us a quick break, and we'll be right back with more of the Carlos Brown Show here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All righty.
We'd like to recognize sponsors. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, located at 1047 Austin Street in Hempstead, Texas. Their phone number is 979-826-8008. Diva Skin Conditioner, located at divafeet.com, D-I-V-A-H feet.com. Their phone number, 903-270-0026. Prairie View Athletic Club, serving student athletes since 1986. Their phone number is 936-857-5817. Temple of Refuge Ministries, located in Prairie View, Texas, at 45372 Old Highway 290. Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union, several locations to serve you. Katy, Rosenberg, Brenham, Bryan, College Station, and Waller, Texas. Their phone numbers, toll free, 855-391-2149. If you or your business would like to be a part of the sponsorship team here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, contact us at 832-213-8824.
The voice of student athletics, the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show, heard exclusively right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network and Spreaker.com. I apologize. I technical issue on my end. Dr. Prince, you wrapped it up with Coach Fertitta, correct?
I did wrap it up with him. And you know why you got cut off, man? Because you was trying to hoard all that talent down in Louisiana and keep it in the bridge. So, that was the Lord's way of saying he don't like ugly. You got to share the wealth.
No, but I actually think I did find the problem. It reminds you of doing the game.
Yes,
sometimes
sir.
you have to make adjustments, and you have to do it quickly.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
But
That's why
I
teamwork.
appreciate you closing it out with him. And
no problem. Teamwork makes the dream work. And and just so you know, I did tell him we're going to be spreading that information to the PV staff.
Oh, I know. A Dewey, a Louisiana guy, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You old rascal. You still old rascal. I don't care what Corona's doing. You still an old rascal. I love you though, and I know you got to look out for your vested interests, and I understand that, my friend. All's fair in love and war and football games, right?
Yeah, and amazing. Right at that point, blank goes blank. Maybe it's trying to tell you something, Mr. Brown.
Yeah, hey.
Well, that's all right.
Hey.
I'll still be watching out. You notice I said that purple and gold, 2 sets of teams.
Yeah, I know it. But notice it cut you off after you said Alcorn. It wouldn't even. It wouldn't even let you get Prairie View out your mouth. Because it said, and I'm just, you just mentioned the color purple. God's trying to tell you something now. If I were you, I would say yes. Speak, Lord.
Speak to me. Well.
Man.
But again, I appreciate you wrapping it up.
No problem at all, man. No problem.
What did he say in his closing?
He said he's sending them all to Prairie View.
Oh, okay.
No. He was just very appreciative, and he said anytime he welcomed you to come on back in, and he had a good time. So no, it was a great interview, and some good insight on the young man. So I definitely took some notes down. I'm not gonna lie to you, I took some notes down. So
I know you did.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's why they call you Brother Prince.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But we're back on course now, my friend.
Yeah, it's 3 after 11 Central Standard Time. And once again, appreciate Coach Funches and our number one, Coach Fertitta. By the way, Coach Funches, women's basketball coach at Southern University. Coach Fertitta, football coach at Catholic High School in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I think now we must take a quick break, and then when I come back, it'll be Coach Van Pettaway. Boy, it'll be the third coach in a row. Coach Van Pettaway, the Carlos Brown Show basketball analyst. Wonder what Coach Pettaway is going to talk about today. Could it be 2-1-2? Zone defense? Well, we all know Coach Pettaway believes in man-to-man. That'd be one of my questions. How often did he play a zone coverage? And I still want to give you pieces of athletic directors bracing for financial downturn of at least 20%. This was a survey released Thursday by LEAD1, an association of athletic directors from 130 major college football schools. 63% forecast a worst-case scenario in which their revenues decrease by at least 20% during the 2021 school year. Even an abbreviated football season could cause schools to lose that much. But you can read the entire article on ESPN.com. And what I'll do, even perhaps with Coach Pettaway, is just kind of pull out some of the important parts that I highlighted with a pink highlighter. How about that, pink? That's still, pink is fashionable now. Dr. Prince. Maybe when we were coming up, I'm a little bit older than you. It wasn't a good color, but I always used that in college.
Well, look, with the last name Prince, walking around with a pink fluorescent highlighter, I don't think so. I don't think so, brother.
Yeah, but pink or yellow?
Yeah,
that's what I use.
I'll take yellow, please, because it was closest to the PV
yellow
gold.
For 200. Okay.
Yes, sir, I'll take yellow for 200, please.
Iowa State athletic director Jamie Pollard said he's trying to make up a $5 million in lost revenue from basketball tournament. Well, let me back up. Canceling the Division I men's basketball tournament cost the NCAA $375 million. It was scheduled to distribute to its member schools. And asked for the worst case scenario analysis, 65% of the athletic director said revenue for the 2019-20 fiscal year would drop from 0 to 20%, including 35% expecting a decrease ranging from 0 to 10%. And so some schools are already taking steps to deal with this year's shortfall. Now, we're talking about Power 5 colleges. They mentioned Group of 5, but my question is, what do you think the effect's going to be? The trickle down. Usually that doesn't mean well when it's trickled down for smaller schools and HBCUs. And so here we now talk about Iowa State. They have announced that they're trying to make up the $5 million lost revenue from basketball tournament cancellations. Iowa State has announced a 1-year temporary pay reduction for coaches and a certain staff to save more than $3 million. The school will also suspend bonuses for coaches for a year to save another $1 million. Iowa State Athletic Director Jamie Pollard said Thursday, I've talked to many of my peers, and they want to do what we just did. Then the article goes on to talk about football season is 5 months away, and for most FBS schools, once again, talking about FBS, it is by far the biggest revenue driver. Any disruption to the football season could be devastating to college sports because that revenue funds just about every other athletic program. So once again, what do you think the impact will be on smaller schools and HBCUs? So I'll stop right there, take a quick time out, come back. We'll ask Coach Pettaway what he thinks about this article. He didn't get a chance to read about it, but the economics of it all. And then in hour number one, I was talking about I'm cautiously optimistic, but then I'm in my mindset, I just don't see it being played. But I could be wrong. That's not fact, just opinion. So we'll come back with Coach Van Pettaway, and then following that, Charles Edmond. You're listening to the Carlos Brown Show on the Open Mic Broadcast Network and Spreaker.com.
Be the one with courage to fight child abuse.
All Texans must find the courage to fight child abuse.
Learn the signs and symptoms and report suspected abuse to appropriate authorities.
Learn and know these warning signs.
A child who undergoes changes in behavior, appetite, or routine.
Watch for unexplained injuries, a change in academic performance, or loss of interest by a child in regular activities.
Trust your instincts. If you suspect something, do something.
If you believe a child is in an abusive situation, please call the Texas Abuse Hotline at 1-800-252-5400.
Be the one with courage. To find your local Children's Advocacy Center, visit onewithcourage.org.
On behalf of children, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The birth of legends are storied in this conference. We must never forget our rich history. We now turn our gaze to the future. The new legends will emerge. New heroes to arise. The Southwestern Athletic Conference. Be our history. Serving the community through faith and athletics. The Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show, heard exclusively right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Now the Carlos Brown Show's basketball analyst, and the rumor spreading quick, the only guy, or one of the guys, that can calm Carlos Brown down. Coach Van Fetterway. Coach, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Carlos. I don't know about that last part now, about being able to calm Carlos you down, but I'm happy to be here, guys, and I hope everybody has been safe, and we've made another week, so we have something to be proud of, and at the same time to be thankful to our Savior Jesus Christ for allowing us to be here another week.
Amen. And also to add to that, for those who did not make it,
right,
because of COVID-19 and other reasons, we still won't forget about those who have passed on. And Coach, speaking of passing on, I pulled up, it came out earlier this week, April 2nd, Thursday, ESPN.com, athletic directors bracing for financial downturn of at least 20%, the survey finds. And it goes on to talk about the Power 5 schools, and they have some comments from some athletic directors from Iowa State. Then they go on to talk about the group of fives and how they're feeling about this. But it doesn't talk about, of course, smaller schools and HBCUs. But, Coach, when we always hear the term trickle-down economics, to me, it usually doesn't mean a good thing at all.
It does not, especially for the smaller schools. Our HBCUs, now that impact is going to be felt greater on our campuses now than for the big boys, because they got a reserve. They got money. Some of those programs run in the black, but we don't. All of our programs are in the red. So that trickle down effect of where they shaving the money that they're going to allow for each conference, that's going to really affect us. And you know the formula that they use, the reason why some of the Power 5 conferences get so much money, in that when it comes to the basketball tournament, the number of teams that your conference puts in the playoffs, that means more money for your conference. And in the SWAC's case, we only gonna get, in the MEAC, we only gonna get one team in. So our money, we're not getting that much money in the first place, and then when they have to save that means even less money for the Southwestern Athletic Conference.
So you're gonna be in a tough position, and let's just say football season, and they're trying to say how it could come back in a different way and different changes. But let's just say it's not enough progress made in this situation, that there's no football. And thanks a lot. A colleague says, from my research, there are about 5 to 7 HBCU programs that generate profit in football. So if there's no football, say, for the 2020 season, that's going to even be an even tougher situation.
Right, and it's going to affect what they call the minor sports, the nonprofit sports. So that this is big. This virus is affecting our way of life in so many different ways, and athletics is a part of that. We're not escaping it. You're not escaping the effects of the virus. And if you're not going to have football, that means no revenue coming into these schools at a terrible time. No one has all the answers to all of this. No one, because there are too many answers that are needed. Yeah, we got too much. You think about this. Yeah, they have granted the spring sports another year of eligibility. That looks great on one end, right? Now let's jump to the other end. Now you got more people on scholarship than you're accustomed to having. All right, so now you got to generate more scholarship money for those athletes to get that other year. Okay, forget about the scholarship. Let's move to equipment. Now we got to have extra equipment. That's cost. That's another cost that's being added. All right, we got to feed more people. That's another cost that's being added. So see, we're adding costs with the mere fact of them trying to help the athletes by giving them another year. But you've already signed people. So you're adding to that total. So that's what I'm saying. This thing is a long way from being over when it comes to figuring out what these institutions and athletic departments are gonna be able to do. And I promise you, in some cases, they're not gonna add all those people that retain their eligibility.
Yeah, because I think I read it was up to the schools to decide how they're going to do that part. The NCAA just granted them. So, wow. And it's going to be. I'm trying to get a couple ADs to come on, at least one in particular. I haven't heard anything back from it. Now I know why.
Right, because no one they don't have the answers now.
No, but you know what, Coach? They don't, but they can.
How can you today commit to a coach that say, okay, coach, we're going to take care of your extra people? It's easy for me to sit in this chair and say that today, but until I get back and get the books and look at what we got coming in, what we got left, are we really going to be able to do that? It's not going to be easy now.
No. We're visiting with Coach Van Pettaway, the Coles Brown Show's basketball analyst, and talking about whenever you hear trickle down effects is never good. Athletic directors brace it for financial downturn, at least 20% survey finds, and they're just talking about the Power Five and the Group of Five.
Yeah.
What Pettaway is talking about is our schools and HBCUs, which could be will be more devastating.
Right.
And I was talking to a listener of the show. He was blunt about it. He was saying HBCU athletics could, for some, it's kind of what you said, will never be the same.
Right. I agree. This is a tough situation. I feel for these coaches in all sports, not just basketball. I feel for them because you cannot help your athletes at this time. There's nothing you can do for them. Yeah. There's going to be more onus on the athletes now than ever before. You've got to rely on them having the drive and the initiative to stay close to where they need to be. And at the same time, they got to think about health. It's easy to go out and do a run, but even if you out jogging, are you going to come in? Are you going to run across the virus doing that? There's only so much you can do in your house, in your garage.
Yeah, it is going to be a tough situation. It is a tough situation. It's going to be some tough decisions that are going to have to be made, and it's a tough situation, Coach.
Yep, and the early sports, soccer, football, cross country, the volleyball, the sports that report first, that normally come around in August, they gonna feel the biggest brunt of this. Basketball, you weren't going to start official practice until in October anyway. But the things that you expect your athletes to have done up to this point, that won't be there. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be tough on everybody, but the sports that are first up, they're going to feel the pinch first, and it'll be more profound on them. It's going to be tough.
Yeah. The reality sets in.
Yep.
It really does set in. Unbelievable. And
what can you do? Okay, we're already struggling for money at the HBCUs. Now you're drying up all the other streams of bringing in money. the advertising. They give you money for advertising because they expect people to be in the stands. What if they come back and say, okay, we're going to put the teams on, let the teams compete, but no people in the stands? Okay, you've lost that. You've lost ticket sales. You've lost concessions. You lost parking. It's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah. And to my earlier point, where I kind of did make it, but when I said trying to get ADs on, a certain AD, and by all means, I haven't asked all the ADs in the conference, but my thing would be, hey, it is what it is. We know what's going on. We, meaning the general public. You just come on and you be transparent. It's a tough situation. Hadn't had to deal with anything like this, at this magnitude before, and we're going through it just like everybody else. That way, you're still at least communicating with the audience. What's going on? I don't think it could hurt, but I'm going to reach out to some more director of athletics and just kind of see what they're thinking, how they're going to deal with the situation that is at hand. Can't go back in time. Can't hit a reset button. Can't do it.
Right. And then if I'll reach out to one that I feel pretty good with and see if he can come on and give you all some insight also, if that's okay, rather.
Yeah, I have a problem with that. No, I don't have a problem with that. Right. Because it's all about getting through this together.
Correct. And when you all agree that this is when our alumni must step up now, we got to. We got to step up because our institutions are at a critical stage because of this virus. We're in worse shape than the other people, and that's why we need to come together and support our respective institutions this year more than any other year.
I would agree. Coach, in the state of Alabama, everything's going well, as can be expected, with what's going on. Different states, different energy.
Right. Well, just yesterday, our governor finally said that for the next 2 weeks, only we were one of the last states to hold out to say that stay at home. The only time you should be going out is to the grocery store or for medical reasons. We just got there. It goes into effect at 5:00 today.
Wow. Critical time. I guess you decided now was the time, huh?
Right. So, but a lot of us, we've already been doing that. Okay. We've already been sheltering in place. So it won't be a big change for some of us. But my hat's off to the people that are continuing to work, that have to work, the people that provide us with groceries, the people that provide our medical needs. Those are the people that we need to be recognizing. We need to be thanking them because they're the reason why we're still surviving. And they put a lot on the line so that other people have an opportunity to get through this virus.
I understand. Essential.
Yep.
People, workers.
Yep.
They're needed. They are needed. Well, Coach, I think eventually we will get to in hour number one. I said I was thinking about asking Coach Pettaway about defense, which was one of his specialties, a 2-3, 1-3-1 zone. But I said, wait a minute, I don't think Coach played a lot of zone. But I said, let me ask Coach in his time at Alabama A&M. Was it that 94 feet pressure defense, man-to-man, wasn't that your cup of tea, the man-to-man defense?
No, pressure was my cup of tea. Pressure. Now, let me tell you. Now, Carlos, that lets me know that what I was doing was effective. You know why? Because a lot of times we were playing zone and people thought we were in man-to-man. So it did help. It did help our schemes, the things that we were doing. But yeah, I had to play zone. You had to play zone so that I can give my kids an opportunity to get some rest without getting out of rhythm. You do that, and then the other thing that it did for me, it gave me an opportunity to put my people in the right spots for my offensive end of the floor. See, if my two guard is playing defense on the right side of the floor, he's already in his lane. And that small forward, if he's defending on that left side of the floor out of that 2-3 zone or that 1-3-1, he's already in his lane. All you got to do is run. All you got to do is just pick it up and keep going. So the defense was our key, but I really wanted that basketball to be scored as quick as possible. And now let's turn around and get it back, get the ball back as quick as possible. So we do that without pressure and bring it from all different sides, through the zone and through man-to-man.
Coach, if I didn't know better, I would say you and Coach Billy Joe had the same philosophy, just different sports. And so what I'm hearing is I make this analogy, sometimes your best offense is your defense. Your defense sets up. Okay.
Yes.
That's all I need to know.
I promise you, it is. It is. That's the way that I've always believed in that. I've always believed in that. That's why if you look back, when it comes to scoring, we were always in the top 2 or 3. We were always in the top 2 or 3 in defense. They got to be together. Mm-hmm. And that was part of my recruiting spiel. Hey, you like to shoot the basketball? You need to come play for me because I'm going to let you shoot. But we got to make an agreement here. In order for you to shoot the ball, you got to get down and play some defense for me now. And if you do that, we're going to have us a great relationship.
Well, and I'm listening to you talk, Coach Pettaway, and I'm thinking, well, who in the conference, as far as coach and the staff, who comes close to Coach Pettaway's style now? And I could think of Coach
I
Smith
can think of
Prairie View.
Several. Yeah, all right, Prairie View, Southern. They play the way I played. Texas Southern, they play the way I played. That way I coached the game. That's the way I like to see it. That's why I enjoy watching those teams.
Notice who he called first, though, Carlos. He said Prairie View.
Here we go, Coach Pettaway. I don't know if they could hear him, but
they heard me on that one.
They heard you? Okay.
They heard me on that
so
one.
I don't have to quote him.
He said Prairie View, then Southern. That's what he said. Ain't that what you just said, Coach?
Yes, it is. I'm sorry. Yes, I did. I'm guilty.
Don't apologize, Coach. Don't apologize for the truth, Coach.
He just happened to say Prairie View first. How about that?
Don't apologize for the truth, Coach.
Oh, boy. I kind of wish now. I always thought of Southern and Texas Southern kind of having that basketball rivalry. Could there be another team to that? I don't know.
Yep.
But Prairie View's got it going on, though. I'll give it to them. And basketball, men's basketball, women's basketball, I think they're going to be heard from.
Right. I think Sandy will get it going out there. She'll get them back to where they need to be.
I'm not going to even comment on that part, Coach, because I could be facetious, but I'm going to go ahead and be nice. But Sister Pugh going to be back. There? No, that's not a threat. That's a promise.
Right.
No, I told you Coach Pugh would get it done.
Oh, I know she's going to get it done. But no, I was just saying I could be facetious on the success that Southern's having because, those are still some of that Pugh residue. But I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there.
Folks, a fight is about to break out on the show.
About to be some furniture moving around here.
Yeah. See, there are some great coaches in this league.
I'm not going to be facetious either, Coach Pettaway. In another sport, but
go ahead, call it out. Call it out.
Louisiana is last on a lot, on a lot of lists. But on some things, they're doing very well. The influence is very much seen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Coach Smith, and I have to give Dr. Prince credit on this one. I didn't know he was a Louisiana native. I knew Coach Pugh, and then I know Coach Dooley.
Okay. So they got a lot of Louisiana flavor out there.
Oh,
A lot of that Louisiana flavor in Texas. Okay.
Yeah. And so, what is your point behind that, Brother Brown?
And the season as well, Coach Pettaway.
What's your point, though, Brother Brown? What's your point? What are you trying to say?
The point is, Louisiana has some good things going on. Their influence in the conference is more than just in one place.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, they might have some good things going on, but it gets better once they land in Texas.
Uh-oh, here we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Well,
did I get him, Coach?
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, and men's basketball, yes.
Well, it's a to be continued in the football gridiron. To be continued.
Yeah, and even that continues. Sometimes it's not a done deal just yet.
No.
But see but see, right now you all are only talking about Texas and Louisiana in football. But in the state of Mississippi, they may have something to say about that football now.
Well, this is true. This is true because we got to pay respect to the reservation. I know the reservation say, "Hey, how y'all gonna forget about us?"
Well, don't get me started on that one.
Because I know you don't want none of that smoke right about now. 1 in 10. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Yeah, but I've not been shy of that, Coach Pettaway.
Yeah, I
think of one. It's better to get there and lose than not get there at all.
You're singing a different tune now. You're singing a different tune now.
No, I said I could say that.
That is a good point.
Yeah. Mr. Atlanta Bus, I'm tired of being in second place. He got to go. I'm tired of that. But now you're saying it's better to get there to lose than not to get there at all. Make up your mind, man.
No, I said some could say that. I could say that, but I'm still sticking by Atlanta Bus.
Oh, okay.
Although Atlanta may not be an option for anybody.
No, Atlanta by way or drive by for Atlanta this year. I can guarantee you.
I would even drive or fly there right now. I mean, sports is sports, but life is important as well, more important.
Amen to that.
But that's true. Amen. But thank God for what we're doing now, being able to sit safely and talk and discuss the athletic portion of this in our HBCUs. So I just want to thank you all for this venue. And I know our fans appreciate it too.
Well, I feel 5 pounds lighter just from that last conversation.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Coach. And as I fade out, you did say Prairie View first, though.
Jack, wait a minute. Jack says, come on. See, this is why people are always getting both TSU and Prairie View. How did I forget about Johnny Jones? Well, he's a Louisiana native.
But no, he is a Louisiana native, isn't he? Yep.
Oh, my God. Oh, put up 5 more points on that one. But in a serious note, though, they represent the university that they're at right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I remember the debate discussion. I kind of just happened to be here when he talked about Coach Woods versus Coach Smith, and both actually had great points. But I knew Coach Smith would be the coach of the year because that's the way they do it.
Mm-hmm.
And if they were to alter and add another criteria, that would be in the future. But once again, congratulations to Jackson State women, regular season championship, and Prairie View men basketball championship. That is a fact, not opinion, and that can't be taken away from them.
Right.
Although Coach Woods came in second, what a turnaround. What a turnaround. And we also throw some love to Alabama and women's coach.
Oh, yeah. Margaret did a great job. Yep.
Yeah. So the future will be interesting in the conference.
Yeah, we got some great coaches in this league. So our sports programs are in good hands. And I wish them well because, hey, they already have a tough job. This virus makes it even tougher.
Yeah, that is true. But at the end of the day, we got each other.
Yep.
And we're going to get through it. We're going to get through it. Coach Pettaway, as always, a pleasure. And we'll talk with you next week.
Thank you, sir. And let's everybody be blessed and let's be safe. Thank you all.
On that note, thank you, Coach Featherweight. On that note, we'll take a quick time out. I guess we'll try to get Coach. It's all been coaching today. Charles Edmond of the Alcorn State Radio Network. I have a question for him about athletics at Alcorn State University. As I stated in hour number 1, the AD has really been moving quickly and swiftly, evaluating the team sports. Women's and men's basketball coaches no longer there. They won't be there. And now they've got to hire a women's soccer coach because Junior Noel was let go. And that's the way I'm phrasing it after 3 years. But hopefully Charles Edmonds will be next. You're listening to the Carlos Brown Show on the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
We'd like to take this time to recognize our sponsors and supporters at the Open Mic Broadcast Network: Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union, Temple of Refuge Ministries, Prairie View Athletic Club, Attorney Lee Van Richardson, Diva Skin Conditioner, Helping Hands Lawn Service. Thank you for your support of our local and regional coverage of student athletics here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Have sports, we'll travel. The Open Mic Broadcast Network serving student athletes from Little League, high school, and collegiate coverage right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. From coast to coast, from dusk till dawn. You can catch all student athletic action right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the station designed with you in mind. Serving the community through faith and athletics, the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the voice of student athletics.
Welcome back to this final segment of the Carlos Brown Show, heard exclusively right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network and Spreaker.com. Last guest of today's show, Charles Edmond of the Alcorn State Radio Network. Charles, still good morning to you. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. I can't complain. How about yourself?
Yeah, same here. Can't complain. Staying safe. Try to do all the things that are recommended for us to do to stay safe, and hopefully we can get through this thing together. I know we will, but I know people are getting antsy, and we'll just hang in there.
Yep, that is absolutely true. That is absolutely true. In hour number 1, I said that I've put myself in the mindset of this could be a year without the sports that I truly like to cover. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm getting myself ready. If not, life goes on, and there's always next year. Remember, I thought there was a cliche, it's always next year. But I know, Charles, broadcasting for all the years that you've done it, I just know you have to have, I won't say withdrawals, but just when you're accustomed to doing something for so long and then you're not doing it, it is an adjustment period for you.
It is. It's a definite adjustment. That's why I've taken on some other part-time duties outside of sports, because I realized a few weeks ago that, you know what, am I going to be able to do nothing literally for 5 months? Because that's what we're looking at in terms of, you know, how long it'll be before we have sports. And I'm like, no, I got to find something else to do. I mean, for the first time in 30 years, well, I would say 25, because we started doing baseball and softball in 95. So for the first time in 25 years during this time of year, which is, kind of the heat of baseball and softball season, there's nothing going on. There's no, we will be talking about Brave Fest, and you just said this is Southern's this is Southern's game, spring game, and it would have been a huge deal with LSU having their game there and all that. So it's an adjustment for everybody. It's definitely an adjustment for me for the first time in a long time. Really not much to do, just trying to figure out if or when football's going to crank up, and I'm kind of worried about that right now. I mean, you hear all the numbers in terms of the lack of revenue. I mean, there's so many backstory lines to talk about here. I mean, the NCAA's distribution to conferences is about 20% of what schools would get, and that's hitting the Power 5, many of them hard, some not as hard as others like Alabama and others, but as that money trickles down to the FCS, it trickles down to the SWAC, it trickles down to Division II and all of that. I mean, it's going to be some tough decisions that have to be made already. And if there's no football, it's really going to be brutal, I think. And I was listening to the podcast that Ken Rashad did with the commissioner, and you could tell in his tone of voice he's concerned about it. He's a finance guy, so he knows the numbers. And so it's, I'm hoping, I'm praying that we're going to have some semblance of football. I texted you the other day. I'm kind of preparing for it a little bit. I'm preparing for more of a delayed start, but in the next 30 days we'll know if football is really going to be on the docket. And I really think, Carlos, I don't know if anyone's thought about it, but high school football starts before any football. High school football starts the third week in August here in Mississippi. The second week is kind of a jamboree, kind of a exhibition type thing. That's kind of the kickoff. And if you're not going to have that, and I know they're going to take their guidance from the NFL and college, if there's going to be a delay or no high school football, then what does that leave for the rest of football? So that's something to think about, and we just hope that we get through this curve, and we hope things get better to where we have some sports.
Yeah, and earlier, Coach Pettaway was talking about, students on campus and housing, and in the article that I was talking about earlier, they talk about the lost revenue from student fees.
Yeah.
Was some of the biggest concerns, and some of the universities, they're not giving out bonuses, taking a 10% cut in salaries and what have you, but you can really double that. In some cases, triple that when you start talking about HBCUs. And I shared earlier, I was talking with a listener of the show who basically said he thought it could, at some HBCUs, the sports will change and will change for a long time, if not even losing some athletics. If this situation lasts a long time, long meaning like a year. Like I said, maybe 2021 is when the year you can have the full calendar of sports, but that would be the death toll to a lot of the athletic departments, losing that type of revenue, or the revenue that they're accustomed to having, which is, the old saying, some people live paycheck to paycheck, and if they miss one paycheck, they're in tremendous trouble. Some of our universities will be there, and we're talking sports, but just beyond sports. So it is a difficult time that we're in right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hopefully it'll work out.
Yeah, I mean, and just think of these guarantee games for football that's on the docket. I mean, we're playing Auburn, and every one of our schools are playing some of those games, and we can, we've always argued and discussed and cussed about the fact that whether we should be playing the Auburns of the world and the Alabamas of the world and getting those paychecks. But if those games go away, that's one thing. But then just think of all the revenue from your home games, homecomings, parking, concessions. All of that stuff is going to be impacted, and it's going to. If there's no football, it for the elite, they're going to make some adjustments. It'll be a sting, but for a lot of programs, even at the FBS level, is going to be a decimation. And if you trickle down to the SWAC, it's going to be even more so because that revenue is counted, that revenue is dependent upon. And right now, Carlos, this is the first week in April. During this time of year, this is where budget talks in athletics kind of get ramped up. Your football schedules are out. You've already kind of anticipated how much you're going to get in guaranteed games. You're kind of crunching the numbers in terms of how much you're going to bring in terms of home games.
Tickets.
And tickets.
Drive.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So even though budgets don't start until July 1st, the number crunching starts now. So now there's what frame are you going to work off of when you don't know if there's football or not? Yes, I think you still have to do it just in case. But what athletic director in our conference is totally prepared for if there's no games at all and what that's going to mean? So I'm hopeful. Football is what I do. Football is what we all cover. But I think also you said you've kind of wrapped your brain around the fact that there may not be football. I'm going to wrap my brain around the fact that it's going to be delayed. In the next 30 days, I think we'll know whether or not we're going to have football because it's already kind of being talked about. It's there's some other scenarios out there. You started in January and you end in May. I mean, you can go through all of that, but for right here and right now, it's kind of hard to wrap your brain around it, considering what's going on in the world right now.
Hey, you talking about January for starting football?
Yeah, that.
Well, then it means you're gonna move basketball back.
Maybe not. I mean, basketball typically starts in November. So again, if you get through this curve and if there's some improvement, you might be able to deal with basketball on a limited basis. But again, basketball is kind of the brutal one because in terms of their sport, because they play a lot of their guarantee games in November and December, and they're required to bring in $500,000 to $750,000. And if that gets delayed, then that's going to impact basketball, and that's going to impact athletics, and that's going to impact the university. So, basketball could take a hit. But football is the big money maker, as we all know. So with no football or limited football, I've read somewhere that said that one conference might just play conference games. I mean, that's, so it's a whirlwind. And I know the commissioner is concerned about it, and I think all athletic directors should be concerned about it because they can't really dig into their budgets and figure out what's going on because you don't know when football or if football is going to start. Because, look, we're all copycats, okay? So what the Power 5 does is going to eventually trickle down to what's going to happen in the MEAC and the SWAC and the Big South and the Southland. We're all doing the same thing as we're seeing with this pandemic. When one state shuts down, it trickles down to other states. Some have not, but most have. So it's kind of a trickle-down effect. So we'll see. I mean, if you see the Power 5 making a drastic move, it's just a matter of time before the SWAC will probably do the same thing.
And I don't know if people will be comfortable enough if to go sit in the stands where you have 20,000, even 15, 10, or whatever you average for your home game. And I know it's a tough situation, but caution has to rule out over financial in this case. And you think about those guarantee games and how we would always talk about what happens if you're not able to play those games. Eventually we said that was going to come. Although I know what has happened now, nobody would ever could foresee this happening.
Right.
But going forward now, how about you not count on so many of those games? Because you get accustomed to that and used to that, and then when you don't have it, it's such a big, drastic, change to your athletic budget.
It is. I mean,
and think about Southern football.
Yeah.
Everyone's, oh boy, what a great schedule, which it is. An attractive schedule.
Yep. And again, we can make.
You don't know. You just don't know.
We can make the comments and give our own opinions on I think Southern has typically played a pretty good non-conference schedule. I think they stay in region and state, La Tech, ULM, Southeastern. I mean, I think, they do it well. For us, we've got Auburn coming up on the schedule. There's some conversation about that, obviously, but I think that will change over the years, more regional. And Derek Horn, our AD, has said that he's trying to get more regional matchups like that to allow our fans to go and participate in that process. But that's revenue that we're all counting on. And if you don't have it, unless you're going to pack your own stadiums, and then, of course, we don't know if we're going to be playing games with fans or not. That's on the docket. So if you're playing in an empty Mumford or an empty Spinks Castle Stadium, if these things resume at that level, how's that going to impact things? So there's a lot of moving pieces here, and we just hope and pray that we get through this.
And speaking of moving pieces, if you're able to talk about this, once again, Mr. Horn is on the move. He's evaluating. He's looking at everything. No stone unturned. No rock, no pebble. Junior Noel, soccer coach, release now. And I had a question for you. My goodness, come to think of it, Charles, and we got about 4 minutes left. We'll try to pull it out. But what are your thoughts on women's soccer coach now gone?
Well, this has been the most aggressive, the most evaluated that Derek Horn has been through in terms of evaluating everything. Of course, men's and women's basketball. That was a couple weeks ago, and now this. I think he's putting all sports on notice that everybody has to up their game. I mean, clearly football has kind of set the table, and now the other sports want to be more competitive. You look at softball, we've been competitive in terms of regular season. We've kind of stumbled in the postseason. Baseball was starting to make a little bit of a turn. We're 3-3. Even though it's been tough seasons for Brett Richardson in years past. But you look at this season, I was really excited about what baseball was potentially could have done. With a big series with Bama State, they kind of put themselves in position, to finish in the top crust in the East before things were canceled. So I think he's putting everybody on notice that, hey, everybody's got to up their game, and I think athletics has to up their game. So I think all that trickles down. So we'll see how this goes, and when the process will be to hiring all these coaches to kind of get things back on track there. But clearly when you see an athletic director do that, he's clearly putting programs on notice that, hey, we need to improve the product going forward.
And on that note, Charles, will have to end it here. Continue to be safe, my friend, you and the family, and we will talk with you next Saturday. And, hey, enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's YouTube, Netflix, PlayStation 4, and I'm still... it's just I may have to check myself out for a few. I'm still watching that SWAC football championship like I'm expecting a different outcome, but I'm able to break down and look at some coulda, woulda, shoulda, missed opportunities, and I'll still say this: there is not a talent gap. Southern very well could have won that game. It all came down to turnovers. And I'll stop there, and et cetera, et cetera.
I agree with you. I mean, I've looked at some of that stuff as well. I've gone back and listened to some of the games, the Alabama A&M game, which was huge, the Prairie View game, even the Southern game, and even the SWAC championship game. And I've even looked at the Celebration Bowl, and I feel you. The way you feel about Alcorn and Southern, I kind of feel the same way with the Celebration Bowl and North Carolina A&T and trying to get over that hump. So we're kind of in the same boat in some sense anyway.
Well, maybe I'll look at Southern and Alabama A&M on YouTube this week. I've watched Southern and Prairie View. Maybe Southern and UAPB. Maybe I'll look at some basketball.
What about Southern and Jackson State?
Oh boy, last year I don't know if I'm gonna look at that one. It was a Southern win, but it was not pretty.
Or the Bayou Classic. How about that?
Yeah, I've watched that twice. Have a great weekend, Charles. Appreciate you.
All right, man. Y'all be safe.
All right, you too. Well, thank Coach Carlos Fuentes, Coach Gabe Fertitta, Coach Van Pettaway, Charles Edmonds, and Dr. Michael Brother Prince. And everybody, send him a shout-out on social media. Prairie View, the regular season basketball champions. It'll make him feel even better. They'll have to defend that crown eventually. Until next Saturday at 10 a.m., have a great, safe weekend. And make sure you tune in for the Carlos Brown Show, heard on the Open Mic Broadcast Network and Spreaker.com. Until that time, as always, and definitely in these times, peace and God bless.